Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our daily gratitude call. Thank you for joining our call today. Look forward to what we get to experience today. I personally have been in a place of really opening myself to learn some new things because my business and my life are changing right now. And so it's an exciting time. And at the same time, it's like I'm in that space between not knowing, kind of knowing where I'm going, but not even knowing what it exactly looks like and knowing how to get there. So I'm in that space right now, and just super grateful for that opportunity for expansion and just learning something new, experiencing something new that I've never experienced in my life before. And that's what we're going to focus on today, gratitude for expansion. I know several of you are kind of in the same boat right there with me. And so I'm excited to see what we get to learn. I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for expansion, and we'll see what comes up. Just write down whatever comes to you, and then we'll share. 90-second gratitude for expansion. Private silent meditation begins now. All right. I am always really grateful for opportunities to grow and expand, whether that be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. Right now in my business, I have not just chosen, I've kind of been like, I don't usually use these words, but I feel like a little bit like I'm backed into a corner, like I'm being forced to grow, to change, to do something different in my business if I'm going to be able to be all things, to be enough, for all the people that I know that I can serve. And I don't know how to do that. There's and I find myself I keep going back to the things that I know, which I know is not the answer. And I reached out to a really great friend of mine today. She's actually on this call, Laura. We've been friends for now about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And we've worked together. We've kind of mentored each other over that period of time. And I know that she gets me. I know she understands me. I know that she knows I want to remain on the Lord's way to wealth. And so I reached out to her this morning and I said, help. I need somebody to just help me stay in this mindset of that there is a way, and not to, just keep running back to the old ways that I know, because the old ways that I know are just going to keep giving me the same results that I've gotten in the past. I know that I need to turn to God because He does know. He's the only one that knows the best way for me personally. I could go run to a mentor or find a book or something about expanding your business, but it is not going to be the Lord's way for me on my path with my specific purpose and everything. And so I know He's the one that has the answer. I just need to keep that open mind and resist the urge to run back to the things that I know. I really need to be in God's space instead of earth space where 1+1 = 2. I need to be in a place where 1+1, me plus God, equals infinity. That's where I need to be. And I'm just grateful for friends who help me keep that open space for faith that is actually a thing, that can actually be possible. Who else has something they'd like to share about gratitude for expansion?
I do.
Betsy, thanks.
So the first word that I was impressed with is the word stretched. And I really felt, wow, I mean, I'm very aligned in what you're feeling. Is there's a stretching, there's an expansion. And when I went to the place of gratitude, it's like, I'm so grateful that I have stretched, because that gives me that capacity to, as I exercise patience, I have more room for patience with me, with others. And I've stretched in new things, new learnings, new technology, new opportunities, new ways to mentor others. I mean, things are coming out of my mouth that I'm like, oh, I just said that. Okay, I'm going to follow up and mean that. And I mean, it's beautiful. It's like beautiful evidence that as I've stretched and reached and trusted, and then I went into the word of expansion and expanse. And I was super humbled because to me, the expanse is all, and it's God's knowing is so greater than mine, and it just really all tied together that this is so much bigger than me. And as I've trusted and stepped and stretched me, I've been a better instrument in His hands, and it's so humbling. And I'm so grateful that there's these bigger, beautiful things, and I don't have to see them. I'm okay with that. I'm just okay in being and doing and doing the work. And I'm blessed to be able to see things along the way. And the expanse to me is just everything bigger and more beautiful than me. And I love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to just kind of go back to one of the words that you said, like exercising. I can't remember what you said, but you used the word exercise, like exercise faith or something. I can't remember what you said. And that there's more room. And I know Phil's at the gym, and I was thinking about like stretching your muscles. When you stretch your muscles at the beginning, before you exercise, you have the capacity for more. And I thought, wow, there's definitely some truths. If it's apparent in more than one area, if you can use it in lots of different areas, that there's truth within that. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else?
I'll share.
Tammy, and then Scott.
When I was in college, there was this month-long outdoor trip that I went on, and one of the for several days we were doing a desert survival course, and our instructor for that course, something that he was talking to us about was how we each as individuals have access to the largest library ever made. And he was referring to the just the fact that each of us have the ability to ask God anything, and how God is the largest library ever made that we could ever go to. And he was talking about how our key to that library is prayer. And as you and Betsy were talking, I just so overwhelmed with gratitude and just thinking about that. And then a verse in the scriptures came to me where we are told that if we knock, it shall be opened. And how easy and simple that process is, that as we use our agency to take that key of prayer and simply ask God, everything, that expanse that Betsy was speaking of, is opened unto us.
Well, beautiful. Thank you. I know with you mentioning this desert survival course that you went on, and I know a few days back I talked about a survival trek that I went on when I was 13, and I think that there's a lot of I believe that it is a necessity, that there is a desert that we have to cross. There is a wilderness that we have to live in for a little while, and where every day we're asking the question, we're saying the thing, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how to live in the desert. I don't know how to get across the desert. I don't know what direction to go. There's so many places when we're in this kind of space between what we used to know and what where we're going. There's this figurative wilderness that we have to cross where we're constantly having to ask God, because really, we could be adaptable, we can be flexible, we can say, okay, I'm going to survive out here in the desert. But if I don't know what the desert plants are, if I don't know, which ones are poisonous, and if I don't know how to get out of the sun in the daytime and get out of the shade in the winter or in the nighttime, then I may not survive it. I might, end up going back to where I was. So I'm really grateful to know that if it is a necessity that we all have to cross this wilderness, on our way to where we're going, that we have access to that largest library. Thank you. Beautiful, Tammy. Scott.
I know that there's always more to learn, to grow, to add value to all those that I meet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know when I was new in my personal development journey, I thought that it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the pinnacle of all knowledge. I don't know what God could teach me beyond this. It's like so amazing. And then the next thing I know, I would be learning something that there was, so much more that I could learn, on a different subject or something. And I just really believe that God's knowledge is infinite. And the more that we can gain, the more intelligence that we can gain here with regard to what we're learning from him, that it's never going to run out. We're always going to have more to learn. Kathy and then Laura.
I loved what Tammy was saying about the library, and I just imagined us all when we pray and we go into that library, and I just imagine all of the many books, and we're all reading from different topics. We all have different purposes, but this mastermind coming together and sharing what you're learning and what you're learning and what I'm learning, and then that was just a beautiful thought to me, and I just imagine myself just never wanting to leave the library. Like I just can read and learn from and learn but I know that we need to go out we need to take the knowledge that we're learning and go out and have a desert experience. But I also thought about a mountain experience. So those are just some of the thoughts that I was having, but I really appreciate that we all are gaining the knowledge that we need for our own purpose and for
Awesome.
the Lord's purpose.
I love that. And I think that's where faith comes in, is when we receive the knowledge to actually go out and implement it. That's where faith and gratitude come in, expressing gratitude by taking action on that new knowledge. Thank you. Laura.
What I was thinking about was that God's creative character is expansion, like there's expansive newness in every day, and it's part of his character. And so to love means we must expand. And at the same time, in this world where opposites must exist, you cannot have hot without cold. It can't be in this world. Because of the fall, we learned opposites, and then the whole world was filled with opposites. Because we live in a world of opposites, we expand and we must contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the universe is breathing. I remember in some of my physics training, one of the things I was reading was, a scientist was talking about how it's possible that the universe is expanding and contracting like a breath,
Mm-hmm.
and so how does that, so then we have these dichotomous processes happening, right? So we have God's pure expansion always there, always happening. And then we have the universe, this universe of expansion and contraction. And so, but then it makes perfect sense. And we already know how it works, because we can breathe in and out, and walk forward at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can be expanding and contracting like the breath, which really gives us life, and walking towards our purpose at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to embody God's expansive character, and at the same time allow for the world, for the universe, this universe of expansion and contraction within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
it's ever more poignant when we're in periods where we're expanding past what we're used to. Right.
Beautiful. Yeah. This, I love everything that you've shared. And I just want to draw attention to that word that you said, embody God's expansive character, that we're embodying God's expansive character. And just the fact that we're breathing in and out, there's an expansion that happens, and we must contract. I thought about an arrow and a bow, where you have to pull back the bow before the arrow can move forward. So there has to be a backwards movement before there can be a shooting forward. And I also thought it's like an explosion. I'm sure that when this earth was created, that there were probably like volcanoes erupting and all kinds of, really crazy things happening that were forming the mountains and the valleys and the hills and the streams and, everything that was happening to create this earth. I'm sure that it looked like a destructive, like a construction zone always looks like destruction to begin with, but when it is for the specific purpose of expansion in a creative, it's when it's part of God's creative character, like you're saying, it's just part of the process.
Yes.
So that contracting or whatever is just part of the process.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly. And the more with that arrow, that's an analogy that I've often thought of through the last several decades, because it's uncomfortable, right? And the more you get pulled back into that taut feeling, the farther forward you're going to spring.
Mm-hmm.
And so the key is to be at peace and happy in the tautness.
Mm-hmm. Goes back to what Betsy was saying with the being stretched.
Right. And not see it as a problem.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Not perceive it as something, oh, I have to get rid of the stretch. Well, no, you're going to be stretched right now. It's like, yeah. So,
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Maybe one more share before we move on to our permission process. Deepti?
So what you were just talking about is called the Big Bang Theory, wherein we see something as an explosive thing, but that's the exact thing we require to put ourselves back in order.
Thank you.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. And the other thing that came to me is expansion has helped me to look at the same thing in a different way. So we come back to the convergent focus and the divergent focus. When I was not expanded, all that I saw was a projection on my mind screen with the problem, and I couldn't see anything else other than that. And while expansion happened within me, there were changed attitudes, and changed attitudes led me to different options, or to not be stuck. So I think expansion gets the momentum to move forward always, no matter what happens in your life.
Beautiful. And I love that idea that no matter where we're at in the process, if we're currently being stretched right now, or if we're, wherever we're at in the process, we're a new person. Today, I'm a new person than I was yesterday. I'm a little bit more stretched. I can see things a little bit differently. So yeah, I love that idea that
even if those roadblocks come, there's a different approach to them.
Yeah.
So if that expansion is not in you, you are going to be stuck. But if you have walked the path of the expansion, there is no way that you won't overcome it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for your wonderful shares. Let's go ahead and go into our permission process. Go ahead and take a deep breath and just really notice the expansion of your lungs. And allow yourself to maybe put your hand on your diaphragm so that you can feel your ribs all the way down to the bottom, expanding out. And even allow yourself to expand even more beyond what you normally do. And one more deep breath, and hold it at the top of the breath for about 5 seconds, and just allow yourself to feel that expansion. And that it might be a little bit uncomfortable or unnatural to feel that expansion, but it's definitely something that you're capable of. It's no problem. It's just took some conscious thought to allow you to do that, instead of just like allowing nature to take its course and just breathing in and out, possibly shallowly, that you are consciously choosing to expand yourself with your breathing, and even hold the breath in that expanded state, and noticing that it's fine. It feels totally fine. And then letting go of that breath, and knowing that now that you have expanded yourself, that you can easily expand to that distance again, very easily. And as you're breathing in and out, I also invite you to be open to know the specific question that would be perfect for you to ask today, that would allow you to step into this state of expansion in a more easy, more comfortable way, and to allow yourself to be open to receive answers. Expand your mind, expand your heart, expand your breathing, expand your awareness, your consciousness, expand your belief system to embrace any new inspiration that you can receive right now. And go ahead and ask that question if you've not already, and listen for the answer. And whatever the answer is that's coming to you, there might be a limiting belief that will be showing up along with that answer. And so just be aware of that as well. And as you're recognizing that limiting belief that's accompanying the answer that you've just received, what is the cost? If you hold on to that limiting belief, what will the cost be to your ability to expand? And if you don't like that cost, then now's the time for you to make a choice. You can choose to hold on to that limiting belief, or you can choose to give yourself permission to choose a new belief that will give you more, help you be more comfortable in your expansion. So if you're ready to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. So what are those new beliefs? Let's get 2 or 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief that will allow you to expand beyond what you've ever experienced in the past, and that it can be comfortable, simple, easy, and it can just be a wonderful experience. What are your new beliefs that will empower you to be able to experience expansion in a whole new way? And with those new beliefs, as you're breathing in this time, and as you are expanding your lungs, and again, holding that breath at the top of your lungs and reading those new beliefs as you're expanding your lungs and holding that breath at the top for 5 seconds, read those new beliefs and then and bring those new beliefs into your body so that it is your new beliefs are facilitating this expansion. And feel the power and the truth of those new beliefs as you are applying them to expanding just your lungs and your body. But as you can see the truth of these new beliefs as you're expanding your lungs, that this also, because it applies here with your breathing, it also applies other places because it is a truth. So it applies in all things. And so whatever it is that you're expanding, whether it's your business or relationship or whatever it is that you're wanting to expand, that these new beliefs will also be true there as well. And final question, what is the one most important thing that you could do today to really prove to yourself, to give you evidence that you are capable of expansion, that expansion is easy, it's comfortable, it's perfect, and you have everything that you need to be successful in this expansion? In a moment, I'm going to open it up. We have time for maybe one or two quick shares. And I'd also like to just invite anyone that is in that process of expansion, if you're just feeling like you need some extra support with that, I would love to have a conversation with you. And all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com and you can schedule a 15-minute call, askwylene.com. Who has something that they would like to share about their experience today?
I'll share.
Deepti?
So during the meditation, I felt my body expanding 10 folds. And if my body expands 10 times, what happens? All the things around me in my vicinity, cars, trees, people, come within that vicinity. So I felt the more you expand, the more oneness you will feel with the things around you, with the people around you, and with God.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I totally agree with that. Brittany.
Welcome.
As during the meditation, I just get these beautiful visuals, and I was brought back to a comment Deepti made several weeks ago, and she's talked about us being old souls. And from that, my mind just went to how our spirits are really thousands and thousands of years old, and they truly are, and they have unlimited amounts of gifts, unlimited amounts of potential. And the only thing limiting us is us. In every case, in every situation, there's always a resolution. There's always a bridge that can be created by us. There's always, with this expansion, because we all know that we're brothers and sisters. And so the ability to expand to limitless amount of people, touch hearts, uplift, create a sense of unity is not beyond any of us. It's within us, and it just needs to be liberated.
Wow, beautiful. How interesting, bringing back this dichotomy of opposition, that as we expand, we think of ourselves going out, and then the truth of it is that we have this capability all within us. And so just thinking of the opposites of expanding out beyond and creating oneness beyond us, and then also coming within, and that there is oneness within. And that really is the extent of limitless expansion. Out forever, in forever. Thank you so much. Appreciate you sharing that. Betsy, one last comment.
Well, I really love that. I'm feeling such a beautiful theme this morning and exactly what you just said, the expanse of what's out there versus what's in. I mean, I think maybe there's just not a difference. It's just all such a beautiful connection. Like when I was talking about being outside and just feeling part of that, like I was outside, part of nature, it was part of me. And the connections, and we've talked about friends and things. And what really impressed me during this was, in the past, I felt like alone, like I'm single. Those were some of my things, just even through the years. And I'm so done with any victim things, but periodically it comes up, like, I don't know how, or I can't, it's only me. And it was just really, really beautiful, solid, that I know resources of, people and things and tech, and these people are available to me. And even beyond that, obviously God is always available to me. And I know and I feel, but I think the word resources, very resourceful, that resources is kind of unlimited. It's not just a one thing. There's endless resources, and there's all sorts of options and opportunity. And that reads into the word of expanse and stretching. And so, I love being more solid in that way.
Beautiful. Thank you. I just have this visual of space with the stars and just like the infiniteness of space outward. And I just had this visual of that exact same picture of what it looks like inside of me too, that there's this expanse within me that I've just scratched the surface of, that there's so much more available to me and because of me than I ever imagined.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And there's lots of really fun things going on in the chat too. So I encourage those who are here live to take a moment and read those. Love you guys. Thank you so much. We will be back here again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And just encourage you to go do your inspired shortcut and just know how infinite we all are. And we're all one, infinite and one at the same time. So beautiful. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank
Love you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.